If that blew your mind, wait until you discover ROM hacks, buddy. Oh, okay, let's check them out. Y'all acting like you know about a secret gold mine and that Master Quest is nothing special. So let's just see what this is all about. ZethN64 has notified me on the existence of the Lost 64 disk drive dungeons from an expansion of Ocarina of Time. It appears to be data from a gigaleak of dungeons that Nintendo made for the N64 disk drive that were later altered and made easier for the GameCube's Master Quest. So throughout this game, I will see basically everything from the Master Quest, but just for you, I will only be mentioning the significant differences and difficulties. Don't you just love making me waste time doing the same thing just for me to cut it out of the video anyway? Please like and subscribe, I beg. Without further ado, let's check out the first dungeon. Entering the dungeon, oh my, is that another torch? Walking up now, that stupid bat is still here. There's also another torch. Most of the stuff here is the same as the Master Quest, but the difference is what we have to do to unlock the middle room. Basically, you have to grab fire from the torch on the highest floor and then land right next to the second floor torch, and then light each torch. It also becomes apparent that it wasn't just these two torches, there was a third one, so I had to do that again. Later on, I figured out how to alter my game's speed, so finally it was less tedious to fail, knowing that I could just speed up the redoing process. I killed this piranha plant, and once again, the stick was left on a cliff. In that moment, I was just thinking, dude, I am not falling for that again. In my video on the Master Quest, I forgot to mention this room. Instead of just jumping onto the platform and then to the chest, it immediately falls down and you have to shoot some spiders off of the wall to climb up. There's also a giant skulltula, but I practically just ignored it. In the basement, I brought the fire from the first floor down and I used it to light this torch and also these webs. Only later did I find out there was a button under the water that also ignites the torch. For the last thing in this dungeon, there's a big difference in this room. Here, there are even more graves than last time, and better yet, I got to find out why they actually existed in the first place. As you all know, the torches in the middle of the room lit up last time via a button that was in the middle, but in this game, it doesn't exist. I thought I was soft locked and I resorted to testing everything in order to progress, and soon I had found out that the graves act like switches, and by slashing them with my sword, I could hit a switch that activated the torches. Other than that, this dungeon was the same. Dodongo's Cavern was next, and there were very few differences. The only examples jotted down in my notes were the bomb that was now inside of a rock, this new statue that you have to push down and, put onto a pressure plate, and a blue flame that surrounded the three torches, which actually didn't do anything. Lastly, there's one other thing that I'm not sure is new, but I'll mention it anyway. Here in this room, there's a torch, web, spider, and another torch behind the spider. Lighting the torch behind the spider is what we want to do, but I had problems doing this because the fire that was on the first torch wouldn't last long enough for me to fight the spider and then grab it so that I could put it onto the other torch. So what I had to do was go back, grab the fire, and then light the torch, and then easily smack the spider with the stick for a quick kill, and then immediately re-grab the fire from the first torch and light the second torch. It definitely was an interesting obstacle, but you know me, wasn't that difficult. For inside Jabu Jabu's belly, I don't even know what to say. Dude, rocks, Song of Time blocks, the multitude of cows, which were there in the last game, but still, they're still weird. This room kind of confused me because of the button on the side. It wouldn't activate with a bomb or a slingshot, so I stared at it, and then I finally figured out the answer. We had to climb it, as if it were up a ledge. The next room was the big hall. It led to two different rooms, but only one door was open. I first checked the old route for the Master Quest, but I found out that the button was missing. And also, why is this cow's toes hanging out? That's so weird. For a long time, I didn't know what to do in this room, and after wasting around 10 minutes shooting cows, I found that shooting this cow specifically from the front, because shooting it from behind did nothing, reveals a chest containing the dungeon map. Instead of finding secrets in the big room, I went through the only open door to try and progress. Here, shooting cows only gives you rupees, and killing every enemy does nothing. Now this is where I hit a roadblock. I spent around an hour just looking around the dungeon, like a bazillion times. Is that a number? For any hints or any bizarre answer on what to do, and I found nothing. As my frequent viewers know, I grew tired and I sat around not progressing. And then I got a bit too tired. I was exhausted, so I looked up the answer. Specifically from Corey B's Ocarina of Time disc expansion playthrough, I clicked on the Jabu Jabu Belly's dungeon video and I started watching. He uses Epona's song on the cows, and that was the solution. I don't even know if in a million years I would ever guess that. Not even lying, I forgot that existed. Now finally using the song, I ventured through and I spoke to the Zora girl. For a long time, I just tried to throw her across this gap so that, she could press the button and let me go get my boomerang, but it never worked. So I guess I just had to take a different route. By the way, I had a pretty funny moment when I tried throwing her at this chest, and then she literally just soft locked. She kept going up and down. I tried grabbing her again and it did not let me. Back into the new route now, I shot this cow and went my own path without a boomerang. I got stuck again because webs were blocking my entry and nothing I did opened the middle room. But then I saw a piece of grass here. Playing music wasn't the answer, but after cutting the grass, I understood what the game was telling me. Din's fire. Din's fire. I swear, the thing that kept pulling me out of the video was that you kept calling Din's fire Din's flame. I'm sorry, dude. In the room to the right, a bunch of sucky sucks fell from the ceiling, and after I beat them all, I received the boomerang. Yeah, it turns out that in this version, it's technically vanilla. After this, most of the puzzles are simple, but the one I had issues with earlier presented itself by my own failure. I tried to turn on the switch with a bomb, and instead of that, I missed, and then the bomb blew up a piece of grass. But doing this made the water from the Master Quest appear. I had been wondering where that went. After some more dungeoning, it was time for the boss fight. A guy in the comments told me to use the boomerang right before the squid hits you, which I never thought was possible since, I assumed his hitbox was only from behind, but it turns out that it works. Thank you, dude. In the next puzzle room, I quickly beat this lethal foe, played Epona's song to a cow, and that made the crate spawn. Dude, this game is so weird. No wonder it didn't get released this way. In the room before the boss, I got really sad. It had some more sucky sucks to fight, and this time, they took my shield. Despite that though, all you have to do here is shoot a cow just so that he slides up a wall and shoot it until you hit the switch. That's it for the dungeon. Next is the Forest Temple, and it's actually just the exact same as the Master Quest. I thought this was supposed to be new. I really just wasted an hour doing nothing. Now for the Fire Temple, there are only 3 changes. 1, there's a fake door on the left side of the stairs. 2, they've taken out the torch that was here in the Master Quest. And 3, there's another fake door right before the end. That's it. What's going on, dude? That's two temples in a row that are exactly the same. Next up was the Ice Cavern, and the only difference is that they added some more Wolfos. That's it. Really? After seeing that everything was basically the same, I decided to check Corey B's playthrough of the game to see if the rest will be the same as well. And I know that's spoiling the game, but I'm glad I checked, because there's literally no difference whatsoever. Maybe there's some new things, but they're probably so insignificant that it doesn't even matter. So, I guess that's it. That's all the devs got up to in terms of what was taken out. Honestly, I'm kind of disappointed, but I don't know what I expected either. If it were a full game, they probably would have released it, so it makes sense that this wasn't released. I had a good time inside Jabu Jabu's belly, and also inside the Great Deku Tree, but other than that, everything was just the same, so not much to even speak on, but it was pretty fun. And with that, I'm off. I don't like leaving the video on a negative note, but this version of Ocarina of Time is just repetitive. I guess with that, I have a prompt for you. If you know of any ROM hacks or modded versions of the Ocarina of Time, I will play them. Just comment it down below.